Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast, where me, Matthew, and Jackson delve into the random, rare, and often ridiculous pieces of human history.
If he had a pilot's license, we'd suspend it, but he doesn't.
We have an army. We have Tarrare. Eats half the army, like,
I've hidden my treasure! Go find it!
Brace yourselves here for this topic. We're about to discuss the Sigma of the ages, okay? A man literally beyond that of any other man who has ever lived. This man was the wealthiest person by a long shot. Like, this man, his net worth is twice that of Elon Musk.
Bro found the One Piece.
This guy was the One Piece, okay? And he lived in the Middle Ages. So this is the tale of Mansa Musa. And he was the ruler of Mali, of the Mali Empire back in the 14th century. And in Mali were dozens of gold mines, and it was prevalent everywhere.
Was he the guy in the Minecraft server who's like, yeah, so I did some mining off camera?
He literally did.
I like how it says here on the Wikipedia, contemporary Arabic sources said that he had more gold than they thought possible, rather than trying to give an exact number, like when asked.
Yeah, they just figured
they
were like
so much gold.
They couldn't even actually conceive of how much there was.
They were like, trust me, bro, there's more than you think.
He was a Muslim, and he went on pilgrimage to Mecca. And during this pilgrimage, he decided to bring with him his gold, not for his own sake. A lot of it. He left plenty behind, but still him bringing some of it, some to him is a lot more than most people have ever seen.
Right.
And so he brought all the gold with him, and he decided he wasn't just going to flaunt his wealth. At every city and town he stopped at along the way, he was going to give the gold to everyone. And so he would pass by some poor homeless man on the street and give him more gold than that man probably would ever have obtained in his entire life. Just because he had
just
it.
Casually.
He would just give it away to everyone.
This guy was Mr. Beast.
Yeah, this is Mr. Beast
Mr.
from the Middle Ages. He would just do this and just give away all of his stuff.
Okay, he likely brought 18 tons of gold with him.
That's the thing. This guy is crazy.
Wait, he brought 18 tons and that wasn't all of it?
That's what he brought with him on the pilgrimage. Like this guy, I don't know how he did this, but he had all of this with him. The problem with giving away all that gold, though, to everybody is that it very quickly ruined the economies of every city he went to.
I bet. Suddenly everybody's got
everybody's got money,
amounts of wealth.
So that didn't go over well, and apparently like 10 years later he found out that all of the cities he had gone to had like crashed and like crumbled, and they were all mad at him. And so he had to like go on a quest to try to get his gold back.
Man, this was before David Ramsey was sent to this planet.
Yeah, this is before people talked about economy.
Before Warren Buffett gave his speeches on inflation, too.
Yeah, this
was before John Economy.
This was before,
came to town and invented economics.
Well before then.
According to Wikipedia again, he wrecked Egypt's economy.
Egypt, bro, made the pharaohs roll over in their graves.
This is after. So this would have been after pharaohs. This was when Egypt was, I believe, I forget which.
Yeah, but imagine like being a pharaoh, being one of the richest men on earth at that point, and you die and you're buried in the pyramids with all of your gold.
And
then
guy,
a couple hundred years later, 1,000, some guy waltzes into town and just casually drops like twice your treasure hoard.
Dude, that's what I love is like, so he wrecked the Egyptian economy, okay? He didn't just damage it, he wrecked it.
He ruined it.
And he did it like, usually when you try to destroy a country, he would have been like, oh yeah, we're gonna siege Egypt, we're gonna take it over. This guy destroyed it out of being nice. Like, he literally was so nice, he destroyed the country.
Dude,
yeah,
kill him with kindness.
Yeah, that adds a whole new meaning to that.
Wait, hold on. When he was in Cairo, he met with the Sultan, and the Sultan demanded that Musa would bow before him, and he was like, well, no. And then he decided
he just said no?
to like, yeah, he just did. And apparently it was very awkward. And then once he decided to bow, he kind of like did it, I guess, at like a funky angle or something, and said that he was bowing to God.
And said he was doing so
gosh.
for God alone.
Ouch.
And then it says, despite that, the two rulers like got along and exchanged gifts. They were like, "Oh, okay, I respect that."
That
Respect
speaks
the God
volumes
grind.
about this man's riz. He was just
For real.
So apparently he was very controversial back at Mali, and they said that he wasted the country's wealth. He was not.
He wasted his own wealth.
Dude,
Yeah,
it was his wealth.
Wait. I'm encountering a strange part of the story that I didn't exactly expect. Musa's generosity, did not slow down as he traveled to Mecca. Having run out of money, Musa and his entourage were forced to borrow money and resell much of what they had purchased while in Cairo.
What?
And Musa went into debt with several merchants.
No.
How do you run out of money after 18
Well, he was
tons
kind of just throwing
gold?
it to the wind.
He was just tossing it around.
So, a common misconception, I guess it is a misconception, is that Mansa Musa was the richest person of all time. But Wikipedia specifically calls out Celebrity Net Worth, this website, and says that it's a bunch of baloney. It says the website claims that his wealth was equivalent to 400 billion US dollars. But historians have argued that Musa's wealth is impossible to accurately calculate. Musa may have brought as much as 18 tons of gold on his trip, equal in value to 957 million in 2022. So that's not billions, but that's at least what he brought on his journey was
That's
close to
not
$1 billion.
18 tons of gold doesn't equate. Doesn't.
Well, we've
transfer
also
to a
dug up
billion.
more gold now than we did then.
That's true,
it's
that's true.
equivalent to this in 2022.
Because gold is very limited in the earth, right? There's not a whole lot of it. Everybody's heard like there's only 4 Olympic swimming pools of gold. And it makes me wonder how much of the gold that we use, even gold that winds up in like computer parts and stuff like that, how much of that do we think was owned by Mansa Musa? Like, could my computer have Mansa Musa's gold in it right now? Could it have like been traded back and forth and gone around?
My gold helped wreck Egypt's economy. Do we want to talk about Musa's death?
His death is really interesting. It's kind of like a mystery. Nobody
What
knows.
happened?
Nobody knows when he died.
Executed and say, "I've hidden my treasure. Go find it."
I've always wondered what happened to this man's wealth.
It says that the date of his death is not certain, but using the reign lengths reported to calculate back, he would have died in 1332. But that's debated.
Others think he died in 1337, though.
Either way, it was somewhere in that zone.
He died somewhere in there. I think, personally, he should have stayed alive. That's just how I view it. I think
we
it's
need
a
more of
shame.
this guy.
Dude, I would like some of his gold. Yeah.
The death chunk of the article is so disappointing. It spends the entire paragraph arguing about the exact date that he died instead of telling us how he died.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know
nothing.
how he passed or what the circumstances were or what happened after, but
I don't think anybody really knows for sure. Well, fellas, long story short, if you ever come across a large amount of wealth, like ridiculously massive, and you have nothing to do with it, take it to a country, give it to all the homeless people, and wreck the economy.
and ruin their economics.
Okay, that is, I don't want to like promote economic disaster, but I'm just saying that is always an option.
So just a heads up about this next bit here. This next topic is a little gross. And we don't go into super humongous graphic detail, but it's about a guy who ate a lot of stuff. And when I say a lot of stuff, I mean a lot of stuff. And some of that stuff was still alive when he ate it. But heck, it is an interesting bit. So here we go.
Let's set the scene here. This was France.
Oui, baguette.
Yeah, this was during the American Revolution. Chilling here, Tarrare was born in 1772. And he was born with a a condition, one might say a gift or perhaps a curse, however you view it. He was capable of eating vast amounts of food, like genuinely unbelievable amounts of food. He is recorded as eating just crazy amounts, but he was always hungry.
So this guy, was he like the first mukbanger that there ever was?
Yeah, he was like the first Nikocado avocado.
So I'm going to read straight from Wikipedia here because this is really interesting. It says that his body was hot to the touch and he sweated heavily. He had constant body odor, quote, to such a degree that he could not be endured within the distance of 20 paces. And it became worse after he had eaten. So I don't know. That's just body odor. I don't think that's like flatulence or anything. It could be that too.
Oh, he had chronic diarrhea, apparently, which was said to be fetid beyond all conception.
Yikes.
That's like some Lovecraftian wording for...
This diarrhea was some cosmic horror.
Maybe we should save this for barf bag history.
Yeah, for real. So during his childhood, his parents could not provide for him. He would just eat so much food that they literally couldn't even keep up with his appetite.
Yeah.
So he was turned out of the family home as a teenager and traveled around with some unsavory characters for a while before becoming a traveling charlatan and then a street performer. And in his acts, he would swallow corks, stones, live animals, and a whole basket full of apples.
Can we just stop on the live animals?
Yeah, that's nasty.
According to Wikipedia here, he was particularly fond of snake meat, which I'm like, was he eating live snakes? Like
he ate live snakes, cats, lizards, and puppies, and even eels without chewing.
Whoa. Tarrare ate cats and puppies.
Man out here making Dio look like a saint when it comes to animal cruelty.
You just made a JoJo's reference.
I just did.
I like this quote here that just says, the dogs and cats fled in terror at his aspect, as if they had anticipated the kind of fate he was preparing for them.
That sounds like biblical.
That's horrifying.
Jeez. Oh my land, wait a minute. Okay, it says that after he had eaten, his eyes and cheeks became bloodshot and a visible vapor rose from his body. And all I can imagine is this guy was like a real-life anime character, like a real-life like Super Saiyan, where they're surrounded by like the fire and the vapors and stuff, and their eyes go all white.
Dude, you just eat a cat and look at somebody and...
He just powered up.
Dude, this guy actually sounds horrifying.
Well, they said that he didn't really have any like mental illnesses, anything like that though, other than just what they described as a complete lack of force and ideas. He was just sort of like indifferent about everything. Like,
wow. I mean, he must have seen the world pretty strangely. You are what you eat, and he ate a lot of stuff, so he was a lot of things.
This didn't always go very well for him. Apparently in 1788, he suffered severe intestinal obstruction when an act did not go as planned. I guess he ate too much.
And apparently members of the crowd carried him to the hospital where they gave him laxatives, and he promptly got better.
He then said that he wanted to eat the surgeon's watch, and the surgeon was apparently unimpressed and said that if he did, he would cut him open and recover the items.
What a guy. I love that, like, just, we don't know much about this guy, but that one joke he made, that just...
was like, that says everything. Okay, so they decided to test how much he could eat. They prepared a meal that was sufficient for 15 people, and Wikipedia says hospital staff restrained Tarrare in the presence of food, but on this occasion, they just let him at it. He ate the entire meal of 2 large meat pies, plates of grease and salt, and 4 gallons of milk, and then immediately fell asleep. He just passed out.
Dude, he had quite the food coma.
Dude, he did. On another occasion, he was presented with a live cat. It goes into detail.
I don't want, bro.
He went full Attack on Titan on this cat. All right,
dude.
Yeah, that's really horrible.
This guy was a monster.
He also swallowed an entire eel without chewing.
That's disgusting.
He crushed its head and teeth first, though. He was smart about it.
I feel like we've all met some guy that would be like, I can swallow an entire eel without chewing, and then try to do it. And like nobody asks if he could. He just, I can do it, and then
dare me to do it.
Choking. I do it, guys. I swear I can. Like, you'd be like, okay, go ahead, man. Like,
it was the kind of kid who wore shorts in the winter.
Yeah, that kid.
So okay, he joined the French Revolutionary Army. eventually, on the outbreak of the War of First Coalition, and that was between 1792 and 1797. So he was an adult at this point. But military rations were insufficient for him. They even quadrupled the amount of food they were giving him, and it wasn't enough. Why conscript this guy? Like, it is almost a detriment to have him on board unless he's going to go eat the enemy. It's like, what do you do?
I wouldn't put it past him, man.
No, I wouldn't.
We have an army. We have Tarrare. Eats half the army. Like
he was in the military. He became a courier. They placed a document inside a wooden box, which Tarrare ate.
He ate the wooden box?
He ate the box, and then 2 days later, it passed through and made it to the other side. And apparently, the document inside the box was still in legible condition.
What?
And so, the French military got an idea. They hatched a plan.
No! Say it ain't so. Following this successful demonstration, Tarrare became employed officially as a spy.
They disguised him as a German peasant, although he was unable to speak German. And so he quickly attracted the attention of the local residents, who alerted the authorities, and he was captured.
Yeah, there was a bit of a small problem with that plan.
Come on.
They brought him to the commander, the Prussian commander, and he was like, yeah, put him in jail. Now, after 24 hours, Tarrare explained the scheme. They chained him to a latrine.
Oh my gosh, no way.
After 30 hours, the wooden box emerged.
Oh.
No.
No, apparently some reports say that he ate the stool containing it before the Prussians could search it while he was in captivity. Actually, given what else he ate, this is not exactly hard to believe.
Regardless, apparently the Prussian commander was angry because Tarrare said that the documents were vital intelligence, but apparently he had actually been given a fake message. It was all a big decoy. It was a prank to get the real messages across somewhere else. They just got him. He was like a distraction. And so then
what kind of a crackpot plan was this?
Whoever Bo Harnais, the guy that came up with all this, this guy is one of my favorite military leaders of all time.
This guy.
This guy
let me get the strategy right. Yeah, let me make sure I got all the details straight. So he's like, okay, this guy can eat anything, right? And he can poop it out, and it's still intact. So we're gonna give him a letter, disguise him as a German peasant. And then when he gets captured, here's the big twist. There really isn't a letter in his stomach. It's fake. It's a dummy message.
It was all part of the plan. He couldn't speak German, so they knew he would get chained to a toilet.
Why use Tarrare in the first place? Like, the original method of delivering the letter worked fine. There was no reason to send Tarrare.
Because Tarrare had to distract them.
Yeah, he was a pretty good distraction.
Yeah, he was a distraction, and they literally were so enraged they sent him to the gallows, and they were going to hang him.
Did they?
Yes, and then apparently at the last moment, right before they decided, the guy was like, why would we? He's like, why would we kill him?
Why would we kill him? He's more entertaining to have alive.
And so they decided, he was like, nah, you know what? Take him down. So they took him down instead, beat him, and released him at the French lines. And yeah, apparently after that, he did not want to rejoin the military.
No kidding.
Fair enough. And he apparently went to the hospital looking for a cure for his appetite.
It says while they were, making an effort to cure his condition, he would sneak out of the hospital to scavenge for offal outside butcher's shops.
Apparently he tried to sneak into the morgue to find food.
Oh.
Yeah, Tarrare...
he got a little weird at the end. And apparently patients would go through this practice called bloodletting, which is basically like in the medieval ages where they would bleed you like into a bowl. Apparently he was... trying to drink the blood there, like from sick patients.
It is a miracle that this guy did not... Actually, no, he did die young.
Yeah, I don't think he was around long. But after some time, this is kind of dark, and nothing's confirmed here, but after some time, A 14-month-old child disappeared from the hospital, and Tarrare was immediately suspected. Nobody was able to vouch for him, and so they chased him from the hospital, to which he never returned. So that might not have been him, but it's disturbing to think it might have been.
So it sounds like Tarrare, after going crazy, finally reached like peak insane. It would seem.
That's...
So talk about falling off.
That's kind of an understatement.
Did he really fall off? Like, he started eating puppies and then he ended likely eating a baby. Like,
yeah, like I guess he wasn't really ever on to begin with.
Yeah. Do you think he released a... Oh, I can't say that. Do you think he released a YouTube apology? That's horrible. Ugh.
That being said, Tarrare went back to the hospital 4 years later and told Percy that he had swallowed a golden fork 2 years ago, and he believed that it was still inside him and making him sick. Percy took one look at him and was like, tuberculosis. Not fork. And a month went by. Percy did what he could, but Tarrare died.
He had a case of the bad squirts then kicked the bucket.
And then kicked the bucket. Apparently, the corpse rotted particularly quickly. That's interesting.
And the surgeons of the hospital refused to dissect it. This is this is gross.
I don't know. I think that the next Indiana Jones movie is going to be like The Hunt for the Golden Fork.
The Hunt for the Golden... Turns out there really was a golden fork in there, but they hid it away.
Here. They took it. They knew it was too powerful.
It's hard to feel bad for Tarrare because eating cats and puppies, I don't know. I can't really excuse that.
It definitely came about from mental illness.
I feel a little bit bad that, like, he genuinely was constantly famished, and that's gotta be a horrible way to live. I mean, that hunger might have genuinely, like, just driven him nuts.
Yeah, it says that, like, he was in decent mental health earlier in life, but by the end here, he was clearly mentally ill, so, like, I think it just drove him completely insane.
Yeah.
And I think that by the end, it seems that his hunger was just completely insatiable. Now that we have clout,
now that
we
we're
made a
famous
Discord server for everybody. We have a Discord server now. We'll post a link to it in the description. If Jesse remembers, that's for...
I'll remember. I'll get around to it.
Man. But yeah, we'll post a link in the description or somewhere, and you guys can join that and post your own, requests for articles you think would be cool. Share feedback, ideas, whatever. It should just be a
memes
bump of time down there.
And we will be there. We will make our own little cameos. They say never meet your heroes, but
I mean,
are
we really your heroes?
That's right.
Or your villains.
Yeah, you got some pretty low standards.
This is a strictly lizard-free zone, so there probably will be like a quiz or a test, like, do you have green eyes, red hair? If that's the case, you might not be allowed into the dojo.
Isn't like 1 in 4 people a reptilian?
Something like that. Maybe. We're gonna.
Maybe we could have a specific chat for the reptilians, just so they don't infiltrate the other chat.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, give them their own little space. We can spy on them.
I mean, it's just the 3 of us in the server right now because it hasn't gone public yet. So we can just assume that every 4th person is a reptilian. So the first guy to join gets banned. And we should just go.
Every 4th person who jumps in gets banned. So you guys have seen the movie Up, right? Where the guy gets a house and he puts a bunch of balloons in it and he fly away. Well, Larry Walters was a guy who had that idea way before it was cool, because on the 2nd of July, 1982, he strapped a bunch of balloons to an ordinary lawn chair and went for a little flight. He went up more than 15,000 feet in this little, like, homemade flying machine and flew from San Pedro, California to the LA International Airport. And that he just made his dreams a reality. He said that he got the idea and he could not resist. He simply could not help himself. And he took to the skies.
Wait, so all that he took up with him was a pellet gun, a radio, some sandwiches, a beer, and a camera.
The fact that he took a beer up there really
that is a lot, though, but that's really like all you need.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything
is all
else
you
that he
need.
would have needed.
He called his flying machine Inspiration 1, and he strapped himself to the lawn chair using belts, and his idea was to use a pellet gun when he got up to the height he wanted to, like, shoot the balloons and gradually make his way down.
What I do find really weird is that, like, if he had managed to drop the pellet gun, he had no backup plan at all.
He did drop the pellet gun.
Yeah, he did. He dropped it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess
And then that's why he had the radio, so he could call for help.
He radioed people and was like, hey, I'm flying over the airport. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I don't really know what to do. I'm way higher up than I thought I would be. Eventually, he did start shooting the balloons, but he dropped the pellet gun, so he wasn't able to really control it beyond shooting down a few. He eventually, he came down slowly and the balloons got caught in a power line, and that caused a blackout in Long Beach for 20 minutes. While he climbed down to the ground.
That's kind of funny, I'm not going to lie. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, thankfully, they didn't charge him, but apparently he was immediately arrested.
They did arrest him. That's much of the story I did know.
And they said if he had a pilot's license, we'd suspend it, but he doesn't.
Could they really charge him for flying without a license? I mean, it's not like he was like using a commercial vehicle.
They fined him $4,000 for failing to establish and maintain two-way communications with an air traffic control tower. And he was like, dude, I had a radio. What the heck? Like, I did what I could. And they were like, fair enough. So they reduced it to $1,500.
Okay. I mean, what was he supposed to do? Like, I mean, he couldn't have done anything else without the radio.
They tried to charge him for operating a civil aircraft for which there is not currently in effect an airworthiness certificate. However, apparently it was not applicable to his class of aircraft.
A reporter asked Larry after he got arrested, or as he was being arrested, why he had done it. And he said, well, a man can't just sit around. And that was his whole explanation.
I mean, did he ever stop sitting around? I mean, I guess
he just sat around somewhere else.
He sat around in the sky.
Hey.
Fair enough, man. You know what? If it wasn't for doing that, we wouldn't know who he was.
So he really wanted to fly, is actually why he did it. And he tried to join the Air Force, but they wouldn't let him because he had bad vision. So he was like, if I can't use the aircraft that the military uses, why don't I just make my own? And that he did.
He was born to fly. I love that, like, from a young age, he was like, I gotta go up there. To give you guys an idea of how high 15,000 feet is, I actually went skydiving yesterday. I don't think I told you guys this.
I did not know that. That sounds wild.
The height that we were in the plane was, I think, between 10 and 15,000 feet. So I don't think we actually made it as high as he did. I'll put a picture up on screen of, I guess, me skydiving, might as well. And this is during the free fall, so this is definitely less than 15,000 feet. But it was high. I cannot believe Lawnchair Larry was up there cruising where I was on nothing but some balloons and a lawn chair.
How many balloons do you think it would take to build like a small airship? You take a couple wooden planks and like a small little like hut area with like a cooler. Dude, like Treasure Planet becomes real. Like
Treasure Planet real.
You just like sail around the sky in some big pirate ship, man. Like
Jackson invents blimps for the first time.
You know, honestly, I do not think this man should have been arrested. I'm going to be honest here because
that's the thing. They arrested him because they were like, well, what else do we do with him? And then they promptly gave him a $1,500 fine and set him on his way. He was more detained than actually like arrested. He
crossed into airspace that only airplanes are supposed to be in, and albeit it was an accident, but it was still like.
I mean, yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know he was going to go that high. Like,
but also, I mean, 43 weather balloons.
I mean, I'm not sure. Did he think he would just hit a certain point and then just float there?
I think that must have been what he thought, yeah.
I guess that doesn't really happen.
Well, afterwards, he got a lot of fame for this.
Dude, he got on the Late Show with David Letterman.
He did, and the Tonight Show. Walter said that he had dreamed about flying this way for 20 years, and that if he had not tried it, he, quote, would have become crazy. He did not think that reaching his goal in life, I love how he describes this as his goal in life, like the big one. He didn't think that it would cause so much excitement or make so many people laugh, but it did.
What did he think was going to happen?
Yeah, but unfortunately it says he didn't make that much money from his fame.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't seem like his fame really paid off in the end.
He hiked in the San Gabriel Mountains, did volunteer work for the U.S. Forest Service, quit his job as a truck driver. He broke up with his girlfriend of 15 years, sometimes worked as a security guard.
And unfortunately, later on in life, he ended up committing suicide.
Yeah, that was in 1993. And that's the saddest part of this whole thing. It almost like puts a damper on the whole tale, but I don't know. I think it's a shame for that to discredit all of the good that came out of his life.
Yeah, his legacy should be remembered as awesome.
I want to be remembered for something like that.
This is actually not the only time that someone has done this, or the only time that someone has gotten a Darwin Award for doing it. Apparently, a Brazilian Roman Catholic priest attempted this in 2008, and unfortunately, he had forgotten to check the weather beforehand, which was a kind of, crucial aspect. He ended up crashing into the sea and drowning, and they found his body months later, and he won a Darwin Award as well.
Well, at least he was recognized for his heroism after his death.
Tell the tale, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they recovered his body, and he got a Darwin."
He got a Darwin Award. Good on you, man. You made it.
Yeah, you did it. You won the award.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you are a truly epic fan of the podcast, a true enjoyer of the deep lore, consider sharing this episode with a non-reptilian friend of yours. You can find more of our stuff on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and we even have an Instagram. Jackson runs it. He posts some goofy memes sometimes. Go check it out. Until next time, I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm going to go post that one on twitter.com.